Good morning. Welcome to Trade Along Live with Saul. Saul will be joining us shortly. Put up an S&P 500 E-mini chart. If you don't have charts and you need a trading platform, let us know and we can point you in the right direction. We're focused on the S&P 500 E-mini here. Looking to do 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 trades during the morning session. Our focus is on price action trading. Our focus is on key levels and zones as a trading advantage to you during the morning session. Looking for a minimum trading profit on each trade of 2 points plus. That's 2 points plus. We generally defend with a 2-point stop. And I would venture to guess that as a new trader, you might need some help. As a new trader, we offer trading education. Let us know if you're interested in that. That's a great way for individuals to look to develop consistent profitability in their trading. However, the first order of business here is a trade along concept in an educational point of view or from an educational point of view only. We're here every day slugging it out. Saul is your host. He's going to bring a few things to the table this morning that are very, in our humble opinion, key to doing better during this morning's trade. Better being profitable. Better being banking your money. Better being not pushing yourself from your desk, your trading area, suffering a trading loss this morning. This is a experience that is a daily experience. Each day is different. Let's talk about Saul for a second. Saul is your host. He's a 25-year veteran of the trading pits in Chicago. He's a great, in my humble opinion, a great trade-along partner. He's going to give out a roadmap for this morning's trade. He's going to give out levels. He calls them levels and zones. These are specific prices in the S&P 500 E-mini that he has deemed actionable for his own trading. And individuals that come in here and are subscribers and are part of this service love Saul's levels and zones. They also really love his trading commentary within the trade along environment of the morning session. So welcome aboard. So I'm going to send out what is required. Required is to sign up here and actually pay something. So I'm going to send it out to everybody now. It's going to be in your chat area. Self-assess whether you paid or not and make sure you're up to date. Edward, I think you have until either tomorrow or the 28th. Just let me know. Hey, James. Hey, James, Saul's got a nice class. If you want to join, just let me know. He's got a nice group of people in there. Terrence, I know you're on the short list to do Saul's trading education, so welcome. Hey, Timothy, Zahurl, Philip, KG, Johnny Z's in the house. Got a few more people popping in. Saul's going to be joining us right now. It's 9:27 a.m. on April 25th. Can you believe it? 2022. Again, everything we do is for educational purposes only. This is broken up into distinct opportunities. The first one is this trade along. It is a subscription service. We have guests coming in. We have current subscribers. Welcome. Just sent out the opportunity to sign up. Make sure you're in. Christoph, you're going to get the permo ban, so make sure you're signed up. I'm going to send it out to you personally. It's not, I've saved you a few times, and I'm happy I did. Just don't disappoint. Take the leap. When Saul pops in, you'll hear his voice. You go through the morning session. The morning session here is a couple hours, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades, depending on market conditions. Saul gives out his proprietary scalping levels to everybody. levels and zones. Those become the areas of interest for Sol in the zone. Certainly could be for yours. Trade along environment. Sol is your wingman, 25-year veteran trader of the trading pits in Chicago. Take advantage, ask questions, interact. If you'd like a private trading consultation, that's very important. If you'd like a private trading consultation, make sure you sign up and become a subscriber, and we can set it up for you.
Everybody hear me all right? All right, let's give you our levels for this morning. Our pivot this morning is 42.44, 42.44. Support down at 33, 26, 16, 07, 41.98. Resistance on the upside at 53, 62, 74, 85, and 98. Pivot 44, resistance 53, 62, 74, 85, 98. Support below at 33, 26, 16, 07, and 41.98. All right, market here again still under pressure after last week's sell-off on Thursday and Friday. And very, very tenuous little area here that the market might continue to sell off as dynamics in the economy are kind of ever evolving, especially with the Fed announcing their hawkishness, very hawkishness stance in interest rates, and that's creating this rotation to the downside and fears of a not so soft landing or a hard landing. So welcome to some of the new folks that are here. We are trading mini S&Ps, looking for opportunities to scalp the market. We use the levels that we just gave out, and if you look at the chat box area, you will find the levels there for you. They are in type form there, and again, we use our stops to back up our opportunities here, wherever they may show up or may not show up. It all depends on the market dynamics and conditions and volatility on any given day. As we quickly come down here to our 33 and testing our 33 here, we're looking about 3 or 4 points on our trades here, and we're getting a nice little 3-point rotation here off of the 33 area with you didn't take too much heat considering the circumstances these days. So nice little quick rotation there against our 33 area. And now we continue to downstroke here a little bit, looking at the 26, the next support area. We have our orders in place as well as your exit strategies. They are in there to protect us against any unforeseen volatility. We are always going to get volatility, but sometimes it's a little faster than others. So we use these levels as opportunities to trade in addition to price action opportunities once the market paints some bars. So the combination of both of those gives us our setups to trade. We probably look for about 4 or 5 trades a day on average. Obviously, we seem to be getting a little bit more when the markets expand and expand their rotations here and expand their ranges that we've been at. That always happens when we are absorbing any fundamental news that might be affecting the market until we come to some kind of consolidation area. But I don't know if we found it yet or not, so we'll see. Let's see where the next leg is going to be. But we consolidated there for a couple of days, and then on the upside, and then the news comes out about the hawkish stance from the Fed, and then we push down here to these levels. As you can see, we continue to down tick here. Next support level we have is down here at the 26 area. The VIX is up to a healthy, very healthy 29 handle, almost 29.66. So we're very, very volatile here. Anything in the mid-20s is volatile, and so we have to take that in consideration if you're trading. You handle risk or handle volatility by maybe trading a little bit less and letting the market kind of dictate our opportunities and absorbing the volatility in certain ways that you have to consider. And then one way to consider that is also by how much volume you trade and how, maybe you should trade a little bit less given the extra volatility. That way you don't get sucked into the quickness of the market as we dip down there to the 27 area. If you did maybe scale in, you got a nice quick rotation up to 30 against our 26 there. Again, we're scaling it to a level. And you got to take some profits here. If you did jump in there at 27 against our 26 area. And now we're continuing to downtick here a little bit. All this is in the first bar. So you can see here the volatility is great as we come down here to the 26 as well. And that's going to happen. I mean, we didn't have that many trades the last couple days prior to Thursday. And then a nice rotation here against our 26 as well. We got up there to 29. So we're getting our rotations here. Again, we're keeping it kind of conservative here, looking for 3 points. And we seem to be getting those very nicely and easily here in that first bar. So quick 2 opportunities here in the first 5 minutes of the day. And again, if the volatility is too great for you and you're a little bit more risk averse, then you don't have to trade if you're worried about the volatility here. So, but there is, like I said earlier and before about the trading the first couple bars, it's definitely a risk reward type of situation. And we're getting a nice rotation here against our 26 that took no heat on that whatsoever. And a nice rotation back up here. It's a nice little trade there if you did jump in. You got a nice little opportunity to make a little bit of cash here. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. If you look at the chat, you will see the levels that we just gave out this morning. The levels there are there for us to use as a guide to the day. We can add to them, we can subtract from them, we can tweak them a little bit. All of those things are part of trading. There's not one right way or wrong way of doing this. You have to find the way that that fits your trading style, fits your trading risk tolerance, and then take advantage of it when it presents themselves so that you can maximize profits for yourself, not for somebody else. So you have to take that into consideration. We're looking at about 3 to 4 point stops, so 3 to 4 point profit rotations, and you have to consider the time of day. When to trade is one aspect that we teach as we quickly come up here to our pivot area. If you're still trying to stay long, then a nice rotation here off of that 26. Again, in our education course there, we are showing you where to find these levels, how to manage the risk, how to manage the stops to maximize profits for yourself. A nice rotation there against our 26 area is a nice quick pop back up here. Took no heat on that whatsoever. And very nice. And if you had a trailing stop here, you're definitely taking a little bit more than 3 or 4 points on this rotation back up here. So nice little trade there if you did decide to jump in. Again, we in our education course, we show you how to manage these trades to maximize profits for yourself. Everybody here trades differently. Everybody here has different risk tolerances, different size of contracts that you trade. So not everybody has to trade the same way. If you trade multiple contracts, you're able to squeeze a little bit more than 3 or 4 points. And those stops could change depending on volatility. If the VIX and the volatility continues to go up, probably might have to expand it to 4 or 5 points. And when things were really crazy a couple months ago, we were up at 7 points. So we do adjust to volatility. You have to keep yourself in the game. And if it's a little bit too much for you, then you have to just be patient and wait for things to settle down. Before you enter some trades, so you can adjust your trading risk tolerance to the market. All right, nice rotation back up here to the pivot area. If you did maybe pivot players, nice little opportunity there to take a quick scalp against the pivot. Just so happens to be our blue band as well. And it was nice little pop back down. Now we're looking at the upper resistance area here is at the 53 area. Who knew we'd be talking about the upper resistance area like 5 minutes ago? But this is trading. All we're trying to do, we don't try to guess which way the markets are going. We're just looking for opportunities to scalp, to look for areas where we feel the market will give us a good chance to um, trade off of the ebbs and flows. That's what we are trying to do here. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. Okay, nice rotation against our pivot. Our pivot players that are doing okay with that little trade there. Again, you are looking for opportunities. There's many opportunities here to trade. You just have to find those that, especially when the market is moving around. Obviously, it does definitely gets a little bit tighter and the ranges get tighter when there's less volatility, and that's why we say we average about 4 or 5 trades a day, because obviously today we already got 3 or 4, depending on how aggressive you want it to be in the first 10 minutes of the day. So nice little trade there if you did jump in, and it happens. It happens that we get a little. That's what happens when the VIX is back up here in the high 20s, and even 30, almost close to 30. You're going to get some movement in the market that gives you opportunities to trade, and you have to take that in consideration when you, when the markets do slow down a little bit and things don't get so crazy. You have to be a little bit patient and wait for opportunities. We talk about that all the time as well. All right, so we basically went up and down the range here. So nice little trade there if you did jump in. All right, so now we're coming back in here to the range. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. It looks like Twitter is going to be taken over by Elon Musk. Things are getting serious over at Twitter, at least according to the latest media reports. Elon Musk met with the crew in the C-suite on Sunday after Twitter went for the poison pill to block him from increasing his stake in his 9.2% stake. The ongoing drama saw Musk unveil a $43 billion bid for the social media platform only 10 days ago after declining a board seat, prompting the company to go on the defensive before shifting its posture towards striking a deal. Musk has lined up $46 billion in financing to fund about $25 billion in debt coming from investment banks and $21 billion from personal equity. He's also rallying Twitter's shareholders to support the takeover following the private meeting on Friday. The bigger fear for the board could be the tender offer, which could reveal Twitter shareholder support for Musk's bid, while the poison pill would prevent them from tendering their shares and require multiple years to gain board control. The company's negotiating hand would be weakened significantly if it was shown to be going against its investor base. All right, market here coming back down here to the lows of the range. Next support level it has down at the 16 area. In the meantime, Twitter is working on estimating its actual market value to compare it with Musk's best and final. offer of about $54.20 a share. And executives also want the breakup guarantees if the deal falls through, and are conducting a due diligence into regulatory investigations against Musk, and it could risk the deal from being completed. All right. Looks like he's taken over. The April market sell-off is continuing at a pace with China's stocks falling to their lowest level in 2 years on Monday. Overnight, the Shanghai Composite plunged 5% for its biggest one-day drop since February of 2020, while WTI slipped 4%. That usually is the correlation between stocks and oil. To below $100 on demand concerns. Rising coronavirus cases are increasing fears for a wider lockdown in Beijing, and the country's easy monetary policy may be no match for the effects of its zero COVID policy. Yeah, well, that's not happening over there as we come back down here to the lows. There's no shortage of blood in the financial dance floor this morning, said some analysts. A poor equity market close on Friday rather sets us up for it. But the war in Ukraine, the threat of China economy on COVID restrictions, and the monetary policy rhetoric led by the Fed, but followed all over the world, make a potential potent cocktail. The straw to cling to is that it's a Monday, and this is mostly an extension of the move based on last week's concern rather than a new move. It's not much of a straw because the key themes aren't going away anytime soon. That's scary. But like we did talk about for a while, and that is how the bond market was telling you one thing and equities were rallying. And I kept telling that the bond market is king. And eventually, bond market does win out at the end of the day. No matter how you slice it, the bond market does win out. That's about the bottom line. As we continue to downtick here, next support level we have is down at 16. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. Otherwise you just get to hear me talk. All right, we came down earlier to our 26, had a nice rotation against it. Now our next support level we have down is 16. Is now we have a bond market. Now we have an inverse trade relationship going on. Could you believe that? Could you believe that? So we are having a inverse relationship where bonds, maybe just a relief rally here from taking a beating over the last couple weeks. I don't know. Following the rally in early February, the S&P 500 is back in a correction territory this morning, down 11% from the highs. The Dow is only off by 2.5% this morning, and the Nasdaq is 2.5%, and the Nasdaq plunged nearly 10% over the last several weeks, and is down more than 20% from its record high. Nasdaq is definitely bearish territory. So yeah, then things don't look too good there for the market at this moment in time. But anything could change. But like I said, we don't care about direction. We obviously understand the sentiment, but we don't care about direction as long as we move around a little bit. We were long, then we got short up on top against our pivot and our blue band, and you all did okay on those trades as well, hopefully. They came off very, very quickly. All right, let's see. And France, the replay of the 2017 election, France's Macron has defeated the candidate Le Pen in the second round of a runoff vote, making the first time the country has reelected a president in 2 decades. Wow. I didn't know that. The French decided to do something different. Official results showed Macron garnering 58% of the ballot compared to 42% for Le Pen, making a decisive but smaller victory than the 32-point win he had 5 years ago. An answer must be found to anger and the disagreements that led many of our compatriots to vote for extreme right. An answer must be found to the anger and disagreements that led many of our compatriots to vote to extreme right, Macron declared during a victory speech. The task is to reunite. It is my responsibility that and that of those around me. Well, yeah, well, he won by 16 points, but last time he won by 32. So that's the only concern there as far as competition. It was the same competition. So maybe if she runs again, might be a little tighter even. The euro opened up 0.5% to 0.5 point higher against the dollar following his win, but quickly turned lower to 107. That's a euro against the dollar. Stock market's also not doing too well, with the Frank's CAC starting the week down 2.3%. Could you imagine if he lost, where we would be? Whew. Yeah, well, you know, you can say the same thing about right over here sometimes. Much of Macron's future governing style will depend on the legislation of elections held in June, though Le Pen's national rally has a history of struggling to win parliamentary seats. If Macron scores another big majority of the National Assembly like he did last time, he will be able to control his agenda without paying too much attention to the other camp. Both sides also face competition from La France Insoumise Party on the far left, with a firebrand Mélenchon, that's his name, nearly qualifying for the presidential runoff after winning 22% in the first round vote in April, beginning of April. That's good. They do it right over there. They had the first of all, they only campaigned for like 2 weeks. They have an election. They had a runoff 2 weeks later, and that's it. Not the gazillions of dollars that we spend over here trying to find our candidates with all the BS that happens before and then during the campaign. But they do it right over there. It's a little short and sweet. You don't have to see all those commercials for like 2 months. We have in Chicago, there's a mayor is running, and the governor. There's a governor's race in Illinois and a mayor's race, and the campaign commercials are going crazy on TV. Hate them. And I think it's not till November. It's April, and they got campaign commercials going on already because these people have a lot of money and they can spend a lot of money on commercials. It's crazy. It's a little bit too much, and these guys finish it in 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. It's great. It happen more here, more often. So, yeah, okay. The election's not till November in Illinois, and they got commercials going on 24/7 already. Very annoying. All right. Well, we see we rotated back up there to our blue band. Our blue banders are happy again. If you did jump in there against our blue banders. So nice little trade there. Bonds here continue to have a rotation rally, maybe a sympathy rally. We talked also last week in regards to the environment that we're in. Usually, when the equities break, you have a place where you can go put your money as far as equity, as far as bonds are concerned. But because the bond market is also in a little bit of a sell-off, what do you do when you sell all your cash? Usually had the flight to quality situation going on, or you get out of one, put it in the other. But not happening except for today. And believe me, I never understood how fast that happens, but it happens really fast. Usually there would be a big break in the equities and bonds are flying to the upside. Don't ask me how they transferred their money from bond market to equity, from the equities to bonds so fast, but they did. Whatever. It is what it is. All right. We got down to 19 there and rotated back up. Again, we're looking for 16. I got to be a little bit careful here. So tread lightly down there. Keep your stops in place on the downside. You could have used the 19 here, 18, 19 area because of the overnight lows. All right, there, Philip. You have a good day. Good to see. Oh, nice vacation in Florida. Go hit the beach. I don't even know why you're even trading, but since you're out there, but hey, maybe a little bit pay for your vacation. Enjoy the sandy beaches of Florida. We continue to slowly downtick here. Be careful there against the 16, just for the reasons I said. Keep your stops in place. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We don't mind questions. And we quickly come down here to the 16 area. If you look at the chat box, you will find the levels that we gave out this morning. And trying to get a nice little rotation here against our 16. Okay. Okay, we got 2 points there, and then popping back down here to our lower end of our entry point. If you are, we get an increased volatility, so keep your stops in place and, make sure you can, manage the trade here. All right, you got to manage the trade here because of the volatility. It's a little quick. Got to put some orders in place so that they get, you know, that they can get picked off here, and make sure you keep your stops in place as well. You have to understand, like I said, you have to be a little bit careful there because of the overnight lows. So we had 16 from another chart. But, again, that's why we told you to be a little bit careful around that 16 area. And also, maybe we did pop back up to 18 really fast there if you were a little bit quick, or if you saw it just kind of hesitating. Definitely have, you have to manage those trades. And nothing here I say is etched in stone. Remember that, right? The next support level is down at 07. All right, let me give you some other levels here on the downside. Below the 41.98, we've got 88, 74, 7, 53, and 45. So you got those, yeah, there they are. If you look at the chat box area, you will see the levels that we just added on. Again, they are, like I said, we don't know which way these markets are going to go when we give you the levels, so we have to we've got some extra levels handy. As we continue to downstroke here, we're looking at 07, our next support area, coming down here to the lows. Ah. Okay, coming down here to 9. Again, keeping your stops in place and also your scales. Can we repeat the levels again? We will repeat them in a second here. Those are the old ones. Can we put the new ones up? All right. Again, very, very choppy here. We got 07. There are the additional levels that we gave out this morning. All right. Again, be a little bit mindful here. We have some volatility to the downside. Obviously, there are some fundamentals that are in place. And we talked about, the fundamentals always outplay the technicals when there are extensions of any rotations in the market. Down here to the 07 area. All right, nice rotation there against the 07 area. You got in at 7.5. You got in at 8. Oh, those are nice little trades there. If you have multiple contracts, try and take a little bit more out of it. Nice little trade there against our 07 area. Got down to 7.25. Obviously, we can't be perfect. I understand if you had 07, you obviously did not get it. If you're trading multiple contracts, though, we're scaling in around it. So like I said, probably about 8, 7.5, 6.5, 6. Obviously, now if you didn't get it, I would not recommend you leave the order in, as the market did rotate off of that 7. So basically, the 7 worked very nicely. So once the level works, the trade is not going to be. I mean, you can't use that level. Technically, it worked, even though we didn't. You didn't get the 7. All right, nice rotation there against the 7 area. Now. Let's not get have negative thoughts going on around here. Positive thoughts. Oh, no, I was joking too. But it's okay. Yeah, yeah. You have to just remember that if yeah, you just have to be able to. If you're trading one lots, obviously you're not going to take the trade now. So if you had the 7 and it got down to 7.25, we're not going to keep that level in there. You're going to have to cancel that order. All right, so we got down to the 7 there. Nice rotation off of that. Next level we have is down at the 41.98 area. Good. Glad that you are enjoying the room. Maybe we can get you into the education part of it too. Seems like I think you're from the other side of the pond, if I'm not mistaken. It works out good. A couple hours in the morning here for us, and you have your rest of the afternoon to do whatever you want to do or eat dinner. All right. Oh, that's good. It's one of those things where you've been doing this long enough that you could, it's one of those things that say, all right, well, the market's, if we feel confidence in what we're doing and finding the levels the right way and getting into them the right way, and they usually work for us. But then if not, just make sure you get out. The hard part is sticking to your guns and getting out. Yeah, well, that's but, as long as that makes you comfortable and you can trade that way. I like to have finger stops versus a mechanical stop. Um, I don't know. I just it is just a bad habit from the pit, I guess. I guess the only reason I don't have that preset is simply because sometimes when we have a rotation going our way, kind of just like to take a little bit more out of it. But then again, sometimes I just have to. You have to sometimes always have those levels in place so that you don't miss it. So it's one of those things, good and bad. Uh, Brad will, if you give us your, Brad will send you some information there.
Hey, Terrence, why don't you just post your best email? Oh, you just did. Great, thanks. And if you want, Terrence, I can talk to you on the phone privately about it. If you want to post your best contact telephone number, that'd be great also. And just let me know what a good time to call is, preferably after the morning session. Then I can go through it. Great. Do you have Skype at all or WhatsApp? Just let me know. Yeah, I've been using WhatsApp. If you have WhatsApp, that'd be great.
All right, we're kind of trading a little bit of range here. And staying that way. Obviously, low end of the range, as you could tell. Next support level we have is down at the 41.98 area. All right, market kind of just popped it back up here to our green band area there. Got a resistance, I'd say maybe around the 40 area. Anything above 42, you want to be out of any longs, shorts, I should say. All right, they popped it back up there again. If we get above the 43, 44 area, you want to be out of any shorts. And well, that's our pivot as well. Nice pop back up here. Bonds here rotating to the downside. A little inverse trade, maybe. Who knows? Here in the middle, we got to be a little bit patient. You can see that little spike there in the 5-minute bar occurred for kind of no reason whatsoever. So you're going to get these moves in the market, the after kind of after your rotations. Right, we kind of held at 34. We might be a little bit bullish here. Just turned a little bit bullish here momentarily. I don't know. We'll see. Very weak all morning, but could be a little bit bullish at this moment right now. We'll see what happens there. So be a little bit careful there if you're thinking of getting short. I gotta getting a little bit bullish. You got to stay above the 28 area for us to stay long. All right, again, got a little bit bullish here on the market because of the price action, I should say. And next level on the upside we have is up at the 53 area. All right, again, if you got long there somehow, we're targeting the 53 area. Nice rotation here once the market held and rotated back up. And again, we got a little bit bullish there about 3 or 4 minutes ago, and market is continuing to jump up there as well. All right, and market looking continues little relief rally here from these sell-off, right? Little resistance up there around the 53 area. Again, we got tried to get you at least we got bullish there around the 35, 36 area. All right, again, we're continuing to uptick here. We're targeting the 53 area. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. If you don't mind questions. And we got up there to 51.5 and came off here a little bit. Well, we got right up there to the 51.5 area and came flying off of it. Too bad we couldn't get up there just a couple more ticks, right? I had him in there I had my order in there at 52. It happens to everybody. So now you got to be a little bit careful there as far as your lower entry point against the 53 if we get back up there. All right, nice quick pop back all the way down here. And if we get below 28, we lose our positiveness in the market positiveness. right. Going right there to right where it wants to turn over. It's testing this here again. Anything below 28, we kind of lose whatever upside momentum we had. And we'll kind of be flat right now again if you were trying to stay long. We can do anything. Go right back into this range. You could really do whatever it wants to do in here. This is what I like to call a no trade zone. Very, very volatile, as you can see. So kind of important sometimes not to trade. It gives you the ability to stay out of trouble. Next support level we have is all the way down at the 98 area. So you can see here the volatility. We were talking just a minute ago or 5 minutes ago about going up against our 53, and now I'm talking back about coming back down here to the 98 area. So the volatility is definitely there. Got to be very, very patient. Wait for opportunities. Don't get caught up in these moves here in the middle when you can get yourself in trouble. And it's very hard to kind of predict what it's going to do. We get, what you had a 20, 30 point move in 5 minutes on air, with no pullback whatsoever. So tough to catch one of these if you don't, again, if we had the 53 area, which again, like I said, I missed it by a couple ticks, and that would have been nice. But unfortunately, that did not happen. So, all right. Well, I hope we can achieve that for you. All right, so the market here chopping around now. Not surprising. Very, very kind of a whippy market. You have to be very, very patient here. All right. Well, then you should think about, scaling in like we talk about, where you get in on one of them. For an example, let's say the number was, our level was 7. Maybe you get one at 6 and then one at 8. One at 6 and one at 8, correct? So that way your average is 7, especially with the volatility that's in the market. We're not going to be perfect. That way, if we miss it like you did, by a tick there, you can at least get in on one of them and have a nice ride on that. So just a thought. That's one of the concepts that we teach in our education course, is how to manage those trades and how to, maximize your profit potential with the number of contracts that you are trading. All right, we are very, very choppy in this little area here. Market getting a little bit whippy, not surprising. It's a lot of stuff going on in the background that we don't hear about. So you have to take that in consideration. There's a lot of fundamentals, geopolitical stuff going on. Any of these things could affect the market at any given moment, and we're not going to be privy to that information. We get some volatility here. You could have some of these Fed governors speaking about interest rates. A lot of stuff that might be happening in the background that we're not privy to before it happens. So that's why we, and then we keep our stops in place. We also concern ourselves with the first part of the day to trade, because it just seems like the dynamics of the trade is there. It gets a little bit more different. The dynamics get different in the afternoon. There seems to have a little less volatility. Market gets to be more one way than anything else, and we're always looking for ebbs and flows. That's how we stay focused with what we are trying to do. And if you look at the chat box area, you'll see the levels there that we're going to use as a guide. And remember, those are as a guide, not the levels we can use as a whole day. But the price action opportunities that are occurring in the afternoon definitely create their own set of dynamics that are going to be different and harder to. They're going to be there, but they're not as efficient as they are during the morning hours. So we have to take that into consideration when we're trading. Well, like I've been saying, I would not, once a level has been triggered, whether you missed it or not, because we technically didn't miss it. Again, if we miss it by a point and a half, a point or a point and a half even, like even on the upside now, the 53 went up to 51 and a half, it becomes a lot more tenuous. So it all depends on your risk tolerance. Maybe if you think that it might revisit, I would say it's a lot more riskier. So if you're more risk averse, you definitely don't want to take it. If you want to go trade the retest, maybe if, like you said, if you're trading 2 lots, maybe you just do one lot and see if it holds the retest. The different ways of managing that retest, but I would say it's definitely more risky than it was the first time to it. So it all depends on your risk tolerance. You could make that determination whether you want to retake that retest independently of somebody else. Somebody might take it, somebody might not. So I just explained the risk to you. And if you're more risk averse, you're not going to take it. You're going to wait till the 41.98 on the downside. And if you are a little bit more riskier, maybe you want to lessen your risk that you usually take. So instead of doing 2, you do 1. So there's different ways of managing it. It all depends on what your risk tolerances are. So then I would wait for the 98 area. Yeah, it's a matter of patience and waiting for opportunity. We've had some this morning with our levels, so we can't complain even though, and we've been moving around. I mean, we're in a very wide range, but at least we are definitely giving, the market is giving us our opportunities to trade. So we can't complain. I mean, we could, everybody does complain, right? All right. Getting very, very choppy in here. Very, very important to be patient. Only if you are risk averse. I mean, only if you are a little bit, want to take some chances or more risk. Did have a little buying opportunity there against the 20 area. Could have made a case for that if you were a little bit more uh, looking for a quick scalp. And we're looking at the downside support there would be at 41.98. Market continues to downstroke here, whatever. Created a little push here, continues to make that push to the downside. Bonds even getting a relief push back up. Very tricky little market. All right, we are chopping around here a little bit. Continues to push down. The next support level we have is down at 41.98. All right, seems like market is just chop, chop, chop here. Very, very tough little trade for sure. Let's be a little bit patient and wait. It's kind of hard to jump in here and try to find an area here where you think you'd want to jump in. All right, again, we are a little bit of pressure here. If you're got a little resistance around the 28 area, if we get above 30, you want to be out of any shorts. All right, we continue to downtick here. This is might be a little retest of the 7 area. Again, only if you're a little aggressive are you going to take this little trade here. Otherwise, you're looking and waiting for the 41.98 area on the upside. Got resistance around the 26.8 area, and anything above 30, 31, I'd be out of any shorts. All right, bouncing back up here a little bit. Got down to 9 and change there and came back up again. This is a very, very choppy trade. Be very, very patient and wait for opportunities. We've had some nice opportunities this morning. Definitely had a few nice trades as the market was very nice to us. Gave us those rotations off of the levels that we were looking at, focused in on, and gave us some nice trades. We're coming up here to a little resistance area right in this area. So anything above the 31, 32, you want to be out of any shorts. If you're a little aggressive, maybe you're looking at this little trade in here. Otherwise, just be a little bit patient, and opportunities will present themselves. Got right up there to 25, 26, and then rotated back off. We said we had a little resistance here, and the market's nicely rotating off at that level. Anything I say as far as levels or price action opportunities, we talk about them in our education course. We show you how to find them on your own, what to look for. Those are the opportunities that are here in our education course, in addition to this live trading room that we have every morning. Again, we are trying to find areas that give us inflection to create opportunities to scalp, and we're looking for those on an intraday basis. And again, we average about 4 or 5 trades a day. I think we easily do that. Well, today we did that, and we can, if you use our levels the rest of the day, you'll be able to probably find a few more if you're patient and wait for opportunities. And just like we had here against this resistance area and a nice rotation off of it, we gave you an exit strategy. Sometimes it's important to find your exit strategy, and then that way you can manage your risk kind of backwards. All right, with that, we're going to take a little break this morning. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. Hopefully you've had a good day, but you have to be very, very patient. Sometimes the tendency is to want to trade when you see the markets are whipping around and the numbers are flashing on the screen. You feel like you have to jump in there and trade, but the reality of it is you have to wait till a good opportunity comes up. You have a reason to trade, and then that's what we talk about. And they have to find those reasons, and that's what we talk about in our education course. So if anybody has interested in that, let us know. We'll get you more information out. Be patient here. We had a nice trade there against our resistance area, and now we're rotating back down. And Again, support level we have is down at the 41.98. We gave you the other levels earlier, and we'll get back here in a bit. We'll do tomorrow there, Rose.